Every single year, GMs select young talent to help their team improve, both for the future and for the present. But sometimes, these talents falter out and never really reach the potential that was placed on them. So today, we're going to be giving these GMs another shot to draft the best player they can. Editor Eternal here. You're probably thinking this video is quite random, and it is. This video was actually supposed to be uploaded last week, but my upload schedule is terrible, so here it is now. Also, join my Discord server. I just made it. We're hopefully going to be arguing NBA takes all day long if we get enough people. Let's get into it.
With the first pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select Luka Doncic from Ljubljana, Slovenia, and Real Madrid.
So since Luka is the obvious number one pick, and there's no point of talking about it, let's use this time to explain the criteria. First of all, I take into account current team fit and also take into account potential, because some of these players are still very young. So that's really it. Super basic. Now let's get into the next pick.
With the second pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Michael Porter Jr. from the University of Missouri.
Yep, we're already having controversial stuff. MPJ over Trae? Well, first of all, you're going to have to understand that MPJ is not better than Trae Young. This is purely because Trae has to be the absolute worst possible fit for the Kings. The Kings already have a star young point guard in De'Aaron Fox, which actually is quite similar to Trae Young in how they get buckets. On top of that, the Kings are terrible on defense, and we all know how he is on defense. And on the other hand, Porter is a good defender, and the Kings are in need of a forward. Simply, I just can't see the Kings taking a horrendous fit player over a great fit player, regardless of the fact that one player is a star and one player is, well, getting there.
With the third pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Trae Young from the University of Oklahoma.
Okay, now we're not going to talk about the next one. He's the Luka Doncic replacement and the obvious best choice.
With the fourth pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select DeAndre Ayton from Nassau, Bahamas, and the University of Arizona.
So this one is definitely a closer one between DeAndre Ayton and shai-gilgeous Alexander, but personally, I have to give it to Ayton. First of all, he's a better fit, and second, personally, I just think he's a better player for most teams. He averaged 15 and 10 while being a defensive anchor this year, and this is on top of severely stepping up in this year's playoffs. So he's my number 4 pick in this redraft, dropping 3 spots from the actual NBA draft.
With the 5th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Shai-Gilgeous Alexander from Hamilton, Canada, and the University of Kentucky.
So with Ayton gone, the next player has to be Shai. Nothing much else to say, but he's by far the best player left on the board.
With the 6th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Collin Sexton from the University of Alabama.
This one is a little bit different, because for me, Collin Sexton has been constantly getting overlooked. We're all forgetting he averaged 24 points last year. He's an elite scorer. So the Orlando Magic, the second worst offensive team in the league, should be taking the elite offensive shooting guard in Sexton. Therefore, he's my number 6th pick.
And now, with the 7th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Mikal Bridges from Villanova University.
Now for me, it's the more nitpicky part of the draft. I think those top 6 were all obvious spots, but these could go to anyone. This spot, well, I chose Mikal Bridges to take this spot. As we know, Mikal Bridges was phenomenal in this year's playoffs, averaging 11 and 4 while locking down the opposing team's best player. But aside from that, he's an amazing 3-and-D player and fits into almost every single team. So for a team like Chicago that kinda has a big 3, they could definitely use a 3-and-D player. So that's why Mikal Bridges is my number 7th pick. Duncan Robinson, the undrafted star. This year, Robinson averaged 13 on 41% from 3. And as we know, the Cavs are one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league. So Duncan Robinson, who's the best shooter in this class, could go to one of the worst 3-point shooting teams, and therefore that's just a perfect fit. Knicks pick the sharpshooter in Gary Trent Jr. Just like Robinson, the fit is perfect. The Knicks are a poor 3-point shooting team, so the best 3-point shooter is the logical choice.
With the 10th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Jaren Jackson Jr. from Michigan State University.
The guy some would put a lot higher has for me been dragged down due to injury. Jaren Jackson Jr. was out for pretty much the entire year with a meniscus tear. Last year, he averaged 17.5 points per game while being a defensive anchor in the interior. He's also a great fit for the Suns, so he's my number 10th pick. He would be going close to top 5 though if it wasn't for him being injured. This one is a super tight one between the two centers in Mitchell Robinson and Robert Williams III. It could go either way, and honestly I couldn't care less, but Mitchell Robinson is a double-double machine, averaging 8 and 8 last season, while adding on another great defensive player to the Clippers. Although this pick was technically traded to the Thunder a year later, I'm just going to consider it the Clippers pick for this redraft, and also the Clippers lack a great center, so he's the best pick for them. Like I said previously, the 11th pick could go to either Robert Williams or Mitchell Robinson, so since Mitchell was picked by the Clippers and Williams is a good enough fit for the Hornets, he has to take this number 12 spot. Devontae Graham would be a great fit to this Clippers team that's lacking a good point guard.
He can do a bit of both in playmaking and scoring, and that'd be a great fit for this Clippers team. Although this pick again is technically traded to the Thunder, we're just going to call it the Clippers pick for the sake of this redraft.
14th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Miles Bridges from Michigan State University.
For this final pick of the redraft, the Nuggets take Miles Bridges. Miles is a great 3-and-D player, and on a Nugget team that's centered around the star in Nikola Jokic, they could definitely use a 3-and-D player to build around their current team. So he's my best fit for the Nuggets. So there we have it, the 2018 NBA redraft. If you made it here, you definitely enjoyed, so why not check out my other content by clicking on these videos. As always, I'm Eternal, and I'm signing off. Peace.